General George Custer once said, "It's not how many times you get knocked down that counts, it's how many times you get back up." Tonight, a story of resilience, perseverance, and a light at the end of the tunnel as we go along the way here in Rapid City. Hearing Lee Morgan strum the guitar, you would never guess what he's seen in his 35 years or what he hopes to see in the future. His kitten Natasha just likes to see him play. Playing the guitar for fun on and off since age 15, perhaps the most consistent thing in his life, besides adversity. He's the third shift supervisor at the Cornerstone Rescue Mission, a shift and a job not everyone could love, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
I'm actually glad to be here. I'm always like a half an hour early, and I always stay an extra half an hour when I get off, so yeah, I really like it here.
And even when he's done working, he's not done helping.
But I do give them rides sometimes when I get off. I take them to, they have job interviews, doctor's appointments, stuff like that.
Rides for which he doesn't earn a penny. He moved to Rapid City just a year ago, and that move has changed his life. Now he's helping change others. You see, when he moved here a year ago, he was homeless too, staying at the Cornerstone Mission for about 2.5 months. But what happened before he arrived is a key part of his life story. He grew up in Baltimore. We see no family pictures in his apartment, which is really no surprise. His memories of his mother are few, mostly of his father beating her up.
She had to take us to work one day, and I remember we kept bothering her. And we weren't supposed to do that, but that was, other than that, that's the only one, that's the only one I have that doesn't involve him hitting her.
She left when he was about 4 years old, and he doesn't blame her. He says his dad both physically and verbally abused him, but left his younger brother alone.
I've been sleeping and woken up to him stomping on my side. Oh yeah, for no reason.
Still, to this day, Lee has no idea why his dad had a virtual target on his back.
Like I said, when I was in elementary school and everything, I had good grades, went to school every day, did everything I was supposed to do, but I guess he would just get, I mean, at that age, I didn't know any better. So he's probably already on drugs, which I found out later, and drinking. I was about 11 and 12. I actually wasn't allowed to eat the food in the house. So I used to go to the store and actually steal my own food.
Lee says he dropped out of school after 10th grade, but got his GED. He went on to serve 2 years in the Army. But one thing led to another, and he ended up on the streets of Baltimore, living under a highway bridge.
Actually, when I was under the blankets, I was fine. It was getting up was the problem. You know, when you're getting up 6, 7 in the morning, and it's like 20 degrees outside, windy and snow and rain and all that, that was rough.
He says he'd spend a night or two per week at a shelter. Homeless for a year and a half, he got one job, then another. But when he sensed he might end up on the street again, he says if he had to start over again, he didn't want to do it in Baltimore.
I was looking for a smaller city, you know, not as many people, with a good unemployment rate, low crime.
While staying at Cornerstone, things started to fall into place. He got hired at Burger King, and when he saved enough to get an apartment, the VA paid his security deposit. Then in February, he landed this job, third shift supervisor. One step at a time, his resilience has paid off. He is finally free to dream.
Well, I plan on being here for a while, hopefully staying in Rapid City, being able to retire here and actually start a family and just live out the rest of my days. That would be nice. That would be the ideal.
From homeless to hopeful, from on the street to back on his feet. It's been a long walk, but for Lee Morgan, Rapid City is like the promised land, and he has finally arrived. If you've met someone cool along the way, please call or email us to let us know. Lee's father passed away a couple of years ago. He hasn't seen his mother in many years, but he is still in touch with his little brother. And while it's a cliche, I think that's a perfect example of the triumph of the human spirit.
He is a success story, and way to go, Lee.
Yeah, we wish him continued success.